It's time for Sloppy Saturdays, and we've got Q playing as the Force Commander versus Daddy as the Chaos Lord. I do not know Daddy, so we'll have to see what Daddy can do. Come on, Daddy, don't let us down. Please. Show us the way. It looks like Daddy was playing random because he's calling out Chaos here, so that bodes well. You know, random players, you would hope they're somewhat decent. You know, they've got a little bit of experience if they're willing to play any faction. Maybe not, though. Maybe he's just a mad lad. Like this, Tax and the hero going together at the start. It's always a good strategy. Really is as Space Marines. You always want to do it. It's very, very rare you don't. Bit unfortunate, really, to meet the Chaos Lord. Because, yeah, he just runs at the Tactical Marines, and it's not really great. Yeah, he gets the kill of the week, but the Chaos Lord will eventually get forced off. Tactical Marines will take a huge amount of damage for it, though. Miss Micro already. Come on, Q! What are you microing over here? You're just meleeing a Chaos Lord, for God's sake. There we go. He's moving his scouts. Chaos Lord is now attacking the wrong model. This model here is really weak, so what Daddy should do, he should hold down the right click and then drag to face that other model to turn his Chaos Lord around, and then he'll attack the weakened model. Probably could have killed one of those attacks there. And right now it's not actually that bad of an engagement there for Q, because he forces off the CL, and, you know, didn't lose any attacks, and now they're regenning up. So, not bad. CSM met the Scouts, so Scouts really can't do anything against CSM. Scouts, obviously, melee counter, they want to meet the Heretics early on. They do not want to be meeting CSM. It's going to be double CSM from Daddy. One of the CSMs going to take over the central VP. And both players just trading their natural VPs at the moment. West side of the map going to Daddy, east side of the map going to Q. Q's got some Devastators on the way. He scouts the gen farm, so he sees there's only one, well, only the node, no gens. So I don't think he's actually seen the CSM yet, but he can probably anticipate there must be a second CSM. If there's only one tick and there's no gens. Devastators in theory here should do very well. Yeah, they're definitely going to prevent any sort of decap. The only problem is it's going to be a little bit awkward suppressing the CSM. CSM probably should have just stayed around and poked down this generator. But they're going to back off. They're going to go for an army versus army fight in the mid here. And look at the tax, man. Still only on just over half of their HP. He's using Kraken rounds against the Chaos Lord. Q should not be doing that. Kraken rounds only increase damage against heavy infantry. Not commander armor, not super heavy infantry armor, just heavy infantry. And two tactical marines dying there to the CSM focus fire, so that's not great. Battlecry has been activated, but yeah, the CSM player, Daddy, can just soft retreat away, doesn't even have to full retreat. And that's a really good engagement for Daddy. Getting a good amount of bleed there, and not really losing anything himself for it. Daddy has now dropped 2 gens. Not fully built yet. Q obviously has his triple gens up, so Q's power income a lot better right now. Let's have a look at upkeep. So 41 pop for Daddy, 36 for Q, and therefore, well, they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar in their upkeep right now. Daddy should be paying a little bit more upkeep. Let's see what's going on with the Rec 30 over here, whereas this is 30. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, very marginal increase in upkeep, that's for sure. Vengeance round, purchased to the Devastators. Using it to take out the node quite successfully there. I mean, what else is Q going for? He's got the resources for ASM now if he wants them. Is this just a fast tech? If it's a fast tech, he really could do with getting a node on this PowerPoint, to be honest. Maybe even picking up a piece of war gear for his Force Commander, or even just some scout upgrades, because his economy's getting a little bit imbalanced right now. He's actually got excess requisition, so yeah, he really could do with taking this point and just noding it straight away, if he wants to go for the fast tech. Now Daddy should recognise there hasn't really been that much investment from Q, going for a very light tier 1 with just the let's have a look how the Vengeance Round's going to do. I mean, they do okay. Vengeance Round's a pretty decent tool against these annoying, unsuppressible, unknockbackable heroes, increasing the damage of your setup team temporarily. Of course, only damage is the way to deal with these heroes, but it's not enough, unfortunately. Not with the Khorne Worship and the Dark Halo on the Chaos Lord. Just bullying that poor Devastator squad. Force Commanders taking the Natural Wreck. CSM taking the Natural Wreck. So a lot of map control trading here between our players. And Q never replaced the node on his power farm? Oh my god, that is a big, big mistake. He had so much requisition. He definitely should have replaced that node. I didn't realise, and the Chaos Lord just comes in and gets a decap. So that's going to put a huge dent into the power income for Q, and at a really crucial time whilst he's taking tier 2. Very unfortunate for him. It's not going to be a huge deal because, you know, Devastator's going to force off the CL here. Tats can go over there and recap it, but, you know, that was a long amount of time to have minus, what, 30 odd power. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks. I mean, it's that play there probably lost him about 20 power. So, you know, it's not a game changer, but it's not nice. It would have been good to have that 20 power. So it looks like some purchases have been queued up here by Q. I don't know what. Well, he's getting the shotgun and the sergeant. I don't know if there's anything else in tier 2. Seems very low on resources, especially compared to Daddy. Daddy presumably saving up for a Dreadnought, because if he wanted a Blood Crusher, he could already have it queued up and ready to go. But maybe he wants to see what Q goes for first, before committing to any tier 2 purchases. It's going to be Bloodletters. And I guess Q, yeah, just spent it all on Scouts, which is strange. I don't really understand why Q is going for a fast tech with no fast Razorback, or like Power Fist Force Commander with Librarian or something, you know, something to get value from the fact that he went for such a quick tier 2. I mean, both players in this game are going very light on tier 1. I mean, I must admit, Calderis Desert is quite a good map for the fast techs because the gen farm is relatively safe. The distance from your base to your enemy's gen farm is huge. So gen bashing can be quite difficult. Sergeant now coming up for the Tactical Marines. I'd really like to see more units for Q. Even a Plasma Cannon would be quite nice right now. Just get rid of some of that crazy wreck float, or use Drop Pod. Doesn't have the red for Drop Pod. It's pretty close. Point blank shots from the Devastators here onto the Bloodletters. One of them melts instantly, but the rest of the Bloodletters do get into melee. Shotgun Blast comes out, but of course the Bloodletters are immune to the suppression effect of it, so they just get up and move forward once again. And somehow 3 Devastator models here getting out with just over 100 HP. Very lucky there for Q. Heretics uncontested on the west, and we do see some upgrades coming out for the Force Commander now. Like I say, I appreciate all the upgrades here, but I think Q just needs more troops on the ground. I'd like to see him get out some more units. Even just a P-Dev. P-Dev's quite good on this map. You can keep it here, protect that middle VP. You can sort of put it here and protect the natural. It's easy to rotate them to cover both sides. And obviously you're protected from anything running down this way. They've got to take the more far-fetched routes where it's easy to see them coming, get your P-Dev into safety. So when you're floating this much requisition, you know, why not? Why not just grab a P-Dev? Might as well. And of course, as he starts to accrue a little bit more red, he has the option of getting some more Tactical Marines for cheap via the Drop Pod, which probably would be a good idea when you're fighting double CSM. Get the Plasma Guns. DPS on the CSM is higher with their Mark of Tzeentch than the Plasma Gun Tactical Space Marines. However, Plasma Guns have the advantage of firing in bursts. So if you pop forward, shoot your Plasma Gun and then run away, and you don't just stand and trade, you will actually beat Tzeentch Marines, especially because Plasma attacks get the Kraken rounds to do 20% extra. And then of course if you start adding in Sacred Standard, if you've got Sacred Standard and you've got Kraken rounds and a Plasma Gun, then Tzeentch Space Marines are going to get wrecked. So, you know, that's an option that he has. Right now we see
Aspiring champions on both of these CSM. We're only seeing Macros each on one of them. Let's see how the Force Commander can do here, activating his battle cry. Unfortunately, not going to achieve too much though, because the Bloodletters just phase out. Meanwhile, the CSM are going to focus him down, which is a good play. They come out of phasing there, and they're getting hit hard by the Force Commander. Both sides retreating. That's a pretty decent smite there by the Librarian. You've got to run into melee. Going to be a bit of a nuisance. Yeah, Daddy just retreats out of there, doesn't really want that engagement. Daddy now going for a Blood Crusher. Perhaps seeing that the Librarian is the choice for Q, so basically there's no AV on the field right now. And then the other thing is the Force Commander's committed to the Thunderhammer, so it means he could get the Power Fist, but he's going to not really want to do that, because then obviously all the money that he put into the Thunderhammer would have basically been wasted. So there's not a lot of AV potential here on the field. I mean, considering Space Marines, right? Obviously we could see a missile launched Tactical Marine, we could see the Devastator swap to a las cannon, but the Chaos Lord's still roaming around with that Dark Halo. Might want to get some other upgrades on the Chaos Lord. A couple of options here, really. Definitely not let the Galaxy burn. Your options are the Drain Life, to try and control and kill the Librarian and Force Commander, or you just get that tier 1 armor, the Armor of Rage, is it? The Harness of Rage, because it's your best tanky armor, basically. It gives you regen for your shield, it's got good synergy with the Dark Halo. Bloodletters here are going to jump onto the Devastators. You can see how deadly those power melee Hellblades are, ripping the Devastators to pieces. That guy's going to fall, 2 of them are down straight away, and in spite of the Force Commander trying his best there to control the melee with that Thunderhammer, the melee forces of KO just completely overwhelming the Space Marine position there with the Blood Crusher and the Chaos Lord, and a whole bunch of scary CSM coming up from behind as well. Not a position that the Space Marines want to be in. So Q's going to retreat out of there. He does have Stern Guard now. They're just chilling near the base right now. I think they need to move forward and do something else. Razorback is coming out now for Q. I don't really know how much the Razorback's going to achieve. I mean, it depends on how well he micros it. It's not going to be a game changer in army versus army fights, I don't think, but of course, the main advantage of the Razorback really is the mobility that it provides. Devastator's got the Veil of Time here from the Librarian, removing their need for setup and teardown times. They've got their Vengeance Rouse, which gives them 350% extra more damage to vehicles. 350% extra more. Come on. 350% extra damage to vehicles. I mean, it sounds crazy, but obviously the default damage against vehicles is horrendous on a heavy bolter, so only really does significant damage when they get close. But that's run out now anyway, as is the Veil of Time, so they have to try and set up. And the Blood Crusher is just going to move forward and tie up those Devastators. Follow-up attacks from the Tzeentch Space Marines should be able to rout the Devastators fairly quickly. Well, maybe, were it not for that. What's this ability even called? Force Barrier from the Librarian. For the Emperor, drops in the Stern Guard here with their Vengeance Rounds, doing some really nice damage to the Blood Crusher. And you've got the Librarian's power melee, you've got the Devastators, and they take out the Blood Crusher. Not a bad play. Stern Guard probably want to get out of here. Oh, there's a Dreadnought. Oh, that's going to be even harder to deal with. Q's going to need a las cannon right now, and I think the autocannon from the Dreadnought might be able to finish off the Razorback here, especially when he's forcing melee. Razorback down to 63 HP, probably going to get taken out by the Dreadnought. Yep, one more hit from that claw, and the Dreadnought is down. Dreadnought can now just turn around and tie up the Devastators, getting a beautiful special attack. Taking a little bit of damage here from the Vengeance Rounds, but there is a lot of support from the CSM. One CSM squad here, 4 models and 130 HP. How the hell did they manage that? I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, imagine if this Force Commander had a Power Fist right now. This Dreadnought could be in some big, big trouble. Thunderhammer is a great tool to help control Bloodletters, but I don't know if it's always worth it, you know, especially if you're only up against one Bloodletter, no Raptors on the field. No jumping Chaos Sorcerer. Sometimes I think the extra damage per hit of the Power Fist can be nearly as good. Last cannon coming up for the Devastators. So the Dreadnought needs to be careful. Looks like there's going to be another Dreadnought coming out for Daddy. Perhaps he's going to make one of them the Mac of Khorne. Send that one in first under Blood Rage so it takes less damage. Eat the last cannon shots. And then the other... Okay, here we go. The first Dreadnought here is going to get the Mac of Khorne. I mean, we could see double Mac of Khorne in theory. We'll see. I think one autocannon, one Mac of Khorne would be pretty effective. Autocannon 1 can focus down the stern guard. Mac of Khorne can just charge the last cannon under Blood Rage so it doesn't take too much damage. Last cannon, yeah, just going to retreat out here. Kind of caught out of position there. He wanted to try and bash some of the power node, but it was kind of unfortunate timing. Dreadnought of Q coming out now. Well, soon. It's going to take a while. Daddy needs to work on the VPs. That's definitely one thing he is struggling with. Massive, massive VP deficit for him right now. Really needs to get on these VPs. Qspaje's trying to do his best, taking that mid VP. Bloodletters are attempting to take back the natural, but Q's Force Commander here, roaming about, been a menace. I don't really know why the Dreadnought is being so scared. It's only a Thunderhammer Force Commander, can't really do much to a Dreadnought. Should just force melee with your Dreadnought, get rid of this Force Commander. So your Bloodletters can cap. Bloodletters, they're phasing out from the Force Commander like they're scared. They just need to get on with the cap. And Q Space Marines heading into the middle once again. I think Daddy would benefit from sending some units to try and take that natural VP of Q as well. He's been doing that, well, not enough. There's been a serious, serious lack of that. Second Mac of Khorne now coming up for Daddy. And an Assault Cannon Dreadnought, can you believe it? That is, I guess he hasn't seen the Mac of Khorne yet, but when he sees the Mac of Khorne, I think he's going to be regretting that Assault Cannon quite tremendously. If anything, a Melter, a Multi-Melter probably would have been a better option here, so he had some other form of ranged anti-vehicle to take out these Dreadnoughts. But here we go, big engagement kicking off. We've got the Malignant Blindness Global dropped by the Chaos Lord, both of the Khorne Dreadnoughts walking forward. It is going to be a disengage from Q. Q, of course, hasn't seen the Dreadnoughts up until this point, so he's not prepared at all. I like the use of the Force Barrier there to push most of the infantry back and delay for a little bit of time. Q has got a lot of time here. Q has got 369 VPs. Daddy is the one who is losing out on time. Needs to cap that central VP because the VPs for him are still draining. Now under 90 VPs. What's he doing? Get on the cap. Cap those VPs, my man. Chaos Lord going to move over to the natural VP of Q. We could see a 2-0 cap in favour of Daddy for a short while. Q probably really kicking himself that he went for that Assault Cannon Dreadnought. Really needs more AV right now. Probably, honestly, should get another Devastator Las Cannon, because the sheer amount of HP on these Khorne Dreadnoughts is quite incredible, especially when you consider that when they have Blood Rage activated, they're taking even less damage than normal. Yeah, Assault Cannon Dreadnought really just not achieving a whole lot here. It's such a bad purchase. It's not what he needs right now. Somehow the Force Commander gets taken out there, I think by the Bloodletters. I guess he just overstayed his welcome, probably lost a lot of HP from the double Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines now. Scout's going to run over to the natural VP of Daddy. Don't think there will really be anything to prevent that. Man. Daddy needs to get a Last Cannon Havoc as well, I think. The AC Dread forcing off the 2 CSM there feels really bad. Pretty greedy Assault Cannon Barrage there, not really hitting anything. Does a little bit of tickle to the Chaos Dreadnought, but it's just going to get repaired. Pretty good setup here actually for Q. Veil of Time with the Last Cannon. Dreadnought's super isolated. You've got your Vengeance rounds. Probably would drop for the Emperor on the Last Cannon right now. Gonna drop it on the Vengeance round Stern Guard. I think the Last Cannon's more important. And one of the Khorne Dreadnoughts falls. That's it. Only one Last Cannon in play, but Daddy just really mispositioning there. Overextending his Khorne Dreadnought. Bloodletters weren't there to support. Bloodletters just getting into position now. Ooh, nice special there from the Dreadnought. But the Bloodletters phase out. Scouts have managed to fully cap the natural of Daddy. Where is the Chaos Lord? He's been hanging around on that side of the map. He's got his Blood Maul upgrade now on the Mantle of Hate. Probably wants to just move down and protect the natural VP. And it looks like the other Khorne Dreadnought's going to go down right now. One hit away from finishing off the Aspiring Champion. Oh my god, not the Aspiring Champion. Wait, he just blood sacrificed his final Bloodletter. What is he doing? The Assault Cannon Dreadnought taken out by
the plasma guns, I think, from the Zinchko Space Marines there. Got very low by the Khorne Dreadnought, but in turn the Khorne Dreadnought loses. So now we've got no vehicles on the field. And the thing that concerns me for Daddy is just his VP control is not very good. Not very good. Yeah, so losing those Bloodletters, he is going to replace them now. Well, to be honest, Q, Daddy hasn't really been bleeding that much, to be honest. His CSM, I don't think I've lost a model in, man, a solid 10 minutes. Not been bleeding too much at all. Not sure about this Force Commander. I really don't think the Force Commander's done too much here. Q needs to get his natural back. It's kind of tough though. He doesn't really have a good option to take on this Chaos Lord. So I kind of like what he's doing here. He's just going to go for the natural of Daddy anyway, because the Chaos Lord isn't there. It's actually an easier pick right now. An attempted nade spike, but man, he hits his own Sergeant. It's pretty deadly. Nearly gets the Scout Squad wiped. Librarian actually putting in some huge work here. What level is this guy? He's level 3. Oh my god. Slaying 3 Bloodletters and the Thunderhammer Force Commander on retreat. Man, if that was a Power Fist, that would have been a dead Bloodletter. He's putting some bleed in now, but man, Daddy's got a lot of resources. Daddy is... yeah, his map control is amazing. He even has this natural requisition here from Q. Daddy's map control is amazing, except when it comes to the VPs. And the Chaos Lord is finally going to leave this VP, going to go to the mid. There's not going to be anything to prevent him, you know, the last cannon can't do anything. Sternguard need to rotate back there and support the last cannon and get rid of this Chaos Lord. This is definitely a VP victory for Q right now. Daddy's going to go tier 3, but we've got a Dreadnought coming out for Q, and I think that might secure him the win because it's going to be so long for Daddy to get anything out with his tier 3 purchase, and he's only got 81 VPs left to play with. Not a lot. Force Commander gets his life drained. That's pretty scary actually. Force Commander could go down right now if everything focus fires him, but it looks like they're not. Siege Chaos Space Marines don't really appear to know what they're meant to be firing at. They're splitting their fire between Sternguard, Librarian and the Force Commander. Both of those aforementioned sub-commanders and hero for the Space Marine, they're going to be moving out. Chaos Lord playing it very, very scary here. Super low on HP, but he does have that Dark Halo left. Q needs to get something on the natural. Yeah, okay, Sternguard are going to rotate there, that's fine. And the Chaos Space Marines are doing what they can to try and take over these VPs. Daddy actually got a 2-0 cap right now. Daddy might be in a great spot here. Could potentially get a Chaos Predator out very soon. His tier 3 is going to unlock in a few seconds. He hasn't made any commitment yet. Here we go. Yes, Chaos Predator. That's going to be a fantastic counter to the Dreadnought. I don't know why Q keeps going for these Assault Cannon Dreadnoughts. I mean, I guess it's good right now against double CSM and a Bloodletter squad, but he has to know that there's going to be something coming out soon. If not, you know, a tier 3 unit, he has to expect there might be some more Dreadnoughts coming out. Probably don't want an Assault Cannon in that instance. A lot of focus fire there going onto the Force Commander. Basically the entire army there of Daddy attacking him. Force Commander not having his Artificer armor is obviously a lot less tanky than usual. Probably does want to pick that up. Oh, the Librarian gets caught by the Drain Life, and that's it, he's dead. That is the power of the Drain Life. You've got to save your quickening if you're against a Drain Life Chaos Lord, because at any point he can just activate that ability and boom, your Librarian's gone. And that Librarian put in so much work as well. Now the Dreadnought is finding itself overextended with a Chaos Predator to hunt it down. There is a Las Cannon providing nice overarching fire, so the Chaos Lord needs to move forward and tie up that Las Cannon. Once it's tied up, oh my god, Predator, don't show rear armor. No, the Predator's gonna go down. Oh my god, what's he doing? Daddy is miss-microing like crazy there, failing to micro his Predator entirely, rotates it the wrong way, and it's taken out by a rear shot from the las cannon. There is a blood sacrifice coming in. More bloodletters being spawned. Of course, this dreadnought being an assault cannon dreadnought, it doesn't have any melee resist, so even just the power melee damage from bloodletters is enough to take out this dreadnought. There are 47 VPs for Daddy, but his CSM are on the cap. Q needs to move out quickly. He needs to get something onto the natural VP of Daddy, but to be honest, there is a Chaos Lord lurking there. It's going to be very difficult for Q at this point with another Chaos Predator being built right now. I don't know how Q is going to be able to secure these VPs. Force Commander is on the cap, but the Chaos Lord is right there. Probably should be ignoring the Stern Guard right now and just getting rid of this Force Commander with his Chaos Lord. VPs are the name of the game now, with only 42 VPs left for Daddy. He's using the Drain Life on the Force Commander and flings him aside, preventing him from finishing the decap. Well, preventing him from finishing the decap. He's already got the decap. Chaos Lord now dueling with the Force Commander. Definitely going to beat him here. Chaos Lord is way more tanky with these upgrades. For the Emperor actually dropped on the Chaos Lord actually, and wow. One more hit might have finished off the Force Commander, but instead it is another cannon shot from that Chaos Predator that is going to take out the Force Commander. I don't think the Stern Guard can finish the cap here. No, they can't. They got to back out. I think this is the GG. The double Chaos Space Marines with the Mark of Tzeentch are too problematic right now. Plasma Cannon needs to hurry up and set up. It probably will fire just in time. Boom. Yeah. Nice shot. Another clean shot like that is going to wipe them out, so they got to get out of there. Daddy knows that, but Daddy has the Predator, so Daddy should be good. Sending his other Tzeentch Marines down to the natural. This is a good play. Just needs to make sure to watch his natural VP as well. Yeah, with the Chaos Lord and the Bloodletters pushing up, they can deal with the setup teams, and then the Heretics can take over the cap with the Predator pushing forward as well. Bloodletters should not be chasing the last cannon here. It's not really a big deal. Just let Heretics deal with that. Need to get rid of the P-Dev, because in theory the P-Dev can even prevent the Chaos Lord from capping. I don't know if Q has line of sight right now, but he can always attack ground either way. So yeah, Bloodletters have rotated. He's done what I said, that's good. Yeah, Bloodletter's going to tie up the P-Devs, and Tzeentch Marines take the natural VP of Q. Chaos Lord is going to take the central. Nothing actually preventing a decap of the natural of Daddy, but it doesn't matter. It would be a 2-to-1 anyway, and to be honest, Q's army is pathetic right now. Didn't go too badly for Q. I think the Thunderhammer was not really a very good purchase. I actually think the Power Fist would have done a lot more for Q in this game, and then I guess just, you know, losing the Dreadnoughts, going for an Assault Cannon Dreadnought in the first place was a bit dubious. You just got to get a better macro understanding and appreciate when it is that your opponent is going to be teching, fielding, you know, Dreadnoughts, fielding tanks. There were a lot of tells, you know. Daddy certainly wasn't pumping out units in Tier 2. And I think Q would have benefited a lot from getting more tactical Marines. And just trading with the CSM under the Sacred Standard with Plasma Gun Tactical Marines. I feel like he kind of let the Tzeentch Space Marines get completely out of hand here. I mean, Q's still in this, he's attempting something, gonna get a nice P-Dev shot there, but you know, we've got Daddy re-securing his natural. There is nothing attempting to take the natural of Q back, and there are Tzeentch Marines guarding it. Beautiful Drain Life usage this game, once again picking up and flinging that Force Commander. Chaos Lord can move in, using his Dark Halo, tie up the P-Dev. Should go pretty well for him. Tzeentch Marines focusing down the Force Commander right now. Force Commander's getting very low. Yeah, and the Predator re-engages, and that should be good, because, oh well, the last cannon is there. But yeah, just focus it down at this point. Oh my god, the last cannon's doing crazy damage from the Sacred Standard plus the Battle Cry, but oh! Lead model killed just before it could get the final shot off. That would have been the end to the Predator. It doesn't matter either way. There is a 2-0 cap right now, and there's nothing left for Q. Yeah, that's going to be the victory for Daddy! See, we all knew that Daddy would show it how it's done. And show how it's done he did. Love the matchup, classic FC versus CL. A little bit of sloppy Saturdays. What can you expect, guys? Can you take them on? Well, you know what? Join the Discord, hit them up, and give it a go. I'd love to see it. And you can send me the replay afterwards. Hope you did enjoy, folks. That is all for you, boy Torpid, today. Torpid signing out.